In mid-2012, Crane Rental Corporation was given a unique challenge and once again rose successfully to the task. A Manitowoc 21000 was working on a power plant in Georgia. It was equipped with a maxer attachment, a 200-foot main boom, and 240 feet of luffing jib. The task at hand? To add more main boom and reduce the luffing jib. Sounds easy enough. Just lay the boom down and change it, right? Not as simple as it sounds. Problem number 1. A 20-foot wide conveyor section that was 45 feet in the air was obstructing the main boom, keeping it from coming down to the ground. The conveyor supplied coal to the power plant, so it could not be shut down, let alone removed. Problem number 2. A large amount of the boom needing to be changed would be over 100 feet in the air, so the normal assembly and disassembly of the boom procedures had to be abandoned, leaving Crane Rental to discover new procedures. In order to succeed, 240 feet to 320 feet of main boom and 240 feet to 220 feet of luffing jib had to be reconfigured. Crane Rental, working with Manitowoc Crane Company, had to find a procedure that would safely and efficiently remove and install to the necessary boom lengths that would satisfy the plant owner and third-party engineers. With the challenge defined, a plan was laid out. A total of 3 cranes would be needed. A Manitowoc 16000 with 177-foot main boom and 98-foot luffer. A Grove GMK 7550 and a Grove GMK 5240. Additionally, 2 120-foot man lifts were also needed. The team was able to boom down in the jackknife procedure with a boom to luffing jib angle of 90 degrees. Once the luffing jib was in the wheeled support, they were able to lower the main boom down to a 27-degree boom angle. Because of the position of the active coal conveyor, they could not boom down any further. A Grove GMK 7550 was then rigged to the luffing jib point of the Manitowoc 21000. Crane Rental personnel ascended in a man basket and rigged the luffing jib strut to a 44,000-pound counterweight directly below the luffing jib heel section. This served to hold the luffing jib strut in place and thereby prevent it from leaning back or hitting the main boom strut of the jib assembly. The Grove GMK 7550 then hoisted the luffing jib to a horizontal position. It was time for a crew to go up in the man basket and attach rigging to a spot on the luffing jib near the base. They successfully attached the rigging to a Manitowoc 16000. Once the 16000 and the Grove GMK 7550 coordinated together had secured the luffing jib, the crew removed the luffing jib heel pins at the base section. The luffing jib was lowered to the ground and the task of reconfiguring it from 240 to 200 feet began. With the luffing jib reconfigured, the live mast of the luffing jib had to be removed from the main boom. A man basket carried the crew to the top of the luffing jib strut and attached rigging so the Manitowoc 16000 could remove the luffing jib strut. But before that could happen, Crane Rental had to unreeve the luffing jib strut from the main boom strut of the luffing jib assembly. Not so easy. The luffing jib strut was rigged to the counterweight, preventing the luffing jib strut from being pulled toward the main strut. Tension on the luffing jib strut had to be carefully monitored by wireless dynamometers. Too much tension would cause severe damage to the luffing jib strut. The crew was able to successfully unreeve the luffing jib strut and then remove it. This allowed the luffing jib strut to be lowered to the ground by the Manitowoc 16000. Next step, the main boom strut had to be removed. A rigging crew ascended in a man basket and attached the rigging of the 16000 to the main boom strut of the 21000. The Manitowoc 21000 was repositioned so that the main boom could be lowered while clearing the conveyor. The 21000 then lowered the boom to the ground, allowing the rigging crew the ability to work closer to the ground while removing the main boom strut. That strut was then unpinned and hoisted away by the Manitowoc 16000. Rigging to remove the main boom head section as well as a 40-foot section was attached, and the Manitowoc 16000 lifted both pieces safely out of the way. 2 40-foot inserts were then added to the main boom. As we learned earlier, nothing else could be added to the boom because the conveyor would be in the way. The 16000 was rigged to the second 40-foot section at the end of the boom and hoisted the main boom assembly until it cleared the conveyor. Now came the task of adding the 40-foot section and head section to the existing boom while held in the air. Along with the 16,000 holding the 21,000 main boom, a Grove GMK 5240 and a GMK 7550 made a critical lift with the 40-foot section and head section connected together. The 40-foot insert and head section were pinned together employing a hydraulic assist cylinder. The pinning tool was operated at ground level while using a spotter positioned a safe distance away in a man basket. Once the pins were inserted, the 16,000 and the GMK 5240 were released while the GMK 7550 held the completed 21,000 main boom assembly. Pendant lines were attached to the main boom by a rigging crew and a man basket using the 16,000. Once the pendant lines were attached, the 21,000 could hold the main boom by itself. All of that accomplished, the crew came to the task of attaching the main boom strut to the main boom head of the crane while still in the air. The connection pins were then attached to the base of the main boom strut. The 16,000 leaned the strut onto the backstops. Pendant lines were attached to the strut by the rigging crew in the man basket, and then the 16,000 leaned the strut forward so the backstops could lock into place. That positioning allowed the rigging crew to detach the rigging from the main boom strut. Now the luffing jib strut could be lifted into place. The 16,000 stayed attached to the luffing jib strut until the rigging lines from the counterweight on the ground could be reattached. The main boom strut and the luffing jib strut then had to be reeved once again. That done, the luffing jib strut was leaned forward until the main boom strut was able to support it. With the luffing jib length now reconfigured at 220 feet, both the 16,000 and the GMK 7550 could be rigged to the new luffing jib reconfiguration. The 16,000 was rigged to the base section of the luffing jib, and the GMK 7550 to the tip section. The two cranes lifted the luffing jib to the main boom. The rigging crew then inserted the luffing jib heel pins to the main boom. The 16,000 was then detached from the luffing jib butt by the crew in the man basket. The GMK 7550 stayed attached to the tip of the luffing jib so the pendant lines could be attached. The GMK 7550 helped the Manitowoc 21,000 lower the tip of the luffing jib to the ground. The Grove GMK 7550 was then detached from the luffing jib. The results? The Manitowoc 21,000 was third-party inspected and passed with flying colors. This successful mission depended on Crane Rental implementing the following elements every step of the way to ensure a safe and successful project. Daily safety meetings, job site safety analysis for each activity, over 100 engineered lift plans, engineered matting plans, personnel platform lift plans, personnel platform exit plans, a detailed fall protection program, Manitowoc engineering, no subcontractors, no accidents, no injuries, no property damage, 0.63 EMR. Reduce the luffing jib and add to the main boom? Not a problem. Mission completed safely and successfully. This is Crane Rental Corporation. Thank you for your consideration.